The enemy of your enemy is your friend. So as of now, the enemy of our enemy is Rigi. So we'll need him. We'll need to use him for the right purpose. So let's continue and hear what he had to say. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is from wherever you're watching us from. Welcome yet again to Tony's Pod, your home of boldness and truth. And as always, we are always here to bring you honest stories, fearless conversations, and always put a voice behind the people behind the stories. We are not here just to ask the hard questions, but we also speak the unspoken. It might not always be polished, but it's always real. And we are always out here to pull off the masks. Well, you're not just listening, you're always part of our conversation, and thank you for tuning in. We are growing like a wildfire. It's like the gospel, according to the Tony's Pod, is spreading everywhere. And we're just growing at an exponential rate. I thank each one of you who has taken this time to subscribe. And we'll always ensure value for the time that you trust us and you commit to us, and always give it knowing that one day we'll give you better, and you'll always look forward to watching from us. Well, today I didn't have a lot to say, apart to maybe review some of the things that Rigi has said while in the US. The truthful man is in diaspora, and he had quite a number of truths to tell us. I'd just like us to dive right in and hear what he had to say to the people in diaspora. Then what are some of the few things that we would like to speak about? Well, today is on the 13th of July, 2025, the year of the Lord. It's already on a Sunday morning. And any events that we talk about in this podcast are contexts to the events that happened on that specific date, the 13th. So let's dive in and see where the conversation will lead us. So Rigi went to the diaspora after having given the Kenya Kwanza government sleepless nights here at home. Maybe do they have a time to breathe now that he's in the outside? I don't think so, because it seems that Rigi is beating them home and away, and he had a lot to say while he was in the US. Let's hear what he had to say. Actually, there's a lot he had to say. Even the accent, it's no longer the accent from Madioya. It is no longer the one Monyoro accent. It's a different one. We're gonna change. You know, when you're gonna go to America, you're gonna change. You're gonna change. Get out of here, man. Anyway, let's move in. Let's hear what he had to say to people in America.
And says he is saved and you are Christian, ordinarily you listen to that person. And I say, much as I was deceived, if bishops, reverends, evangelists, pastors, anointed men and women of God walidanganywa, sasa mimi ni nani? Hata kama watu ya diaspora mmetembea mpaka Ulaya mnakaa na wazungu mmedanganywa, mimi ni nani? Sasa mtu ya Monyoro, if this guy can con watu wanakaa Amerika, mumechanuka mnakaa na wazungu, sasa mtu ya Monyoro ni nani? You know, those are the issues. So good people.
So Wamunyoro is trying to say that Ruto conned all of us. Actually, he's trying to say that hakuwa anamjua vizuri. He got to know him wakati aliingia in power, and he came with the Bible, akakuja akawaombea, na yeye hadi yeye alikuwa na pastor, lakini hata yeye aliombewa nini bla 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 bla. The narrative, you know it. But Rigi, uko sure ukisema ati huyu mtu uko unamjua tabia yake? Uko sure uko unamjua kabisa? It's just the other day you were reminding us of the church in Kiamba. Didn't you remember that? Ama when he came with the Bible, all his sins were washed. Did he tell you he had experienced a Damascus moment somewhere? And then you're here saying, he fooled all the bishops. He fooled not all the bishops. So many bishops were against him time yake. But wale mabishop walikuwa wameongozwa na tumbo ndio walifuliwa. And even Uhuru was asking, this money that mnaletewa amjiulizi inatoka wapi? But at that time ilikuwa ni ile Waswahili husema hasikiki hasemezeki. Where right now you only have yourself to complain. And these are the things that Kenyans should not, because it can't be that wakati Rigi alikuwa kwa gava, Ruto was a nice guy. When they were planning what they will do, he was a nice guy. But now that things are not going their way or they are not in agreement, sasa ati Ruto is a bad person. Yes, he might be a bad person. We are not talking about the badness of that person, but you had come to a consensus with him to work with him. What were your interests with working with him? What were your business interests? You've not revealed that yet. Can you say genuinely that mulishikana na Ruto to change this country? I don't think so. Maybe you both wanted to change the lives of your families. Maybe. Just maybe. Anyway, let's continue.
So good people have come for us to rebuild trust. I want us to chart a new friendship based on honesty, integrity, and truth. Tukubaliane tu. What we can do, we say we can do. What we cannot do, we say we cannot. What we can try, we say we shall try, isn't it? Yeah, that is true. You know, like I was there when you were promised that the deputy ambassadors in our embassies and high commissions will be from the diaspora. I was there when that commitment was given. It was not honored. I tried to fight hard for the consulate in Los Angeles to go to one of you. It was not possible. I tried to fight for the deputy ambassador in Washington, D.C. to be one of you. It was not possible. I managed in London. We got a bishop there who was in diaspora to be the deputy high commissioner in London. That is a promise any genuine leader can keep because it has no cost implication. Absolutely none. About 5, 6, 7 consulates, it may be difficult because they require financial outlay. But placing diaspora people as a deputy head of mission in our embassies across Kenya is a commitment any honest leader can keep because it costs you nothing. And it's also good for the country because you are saying this is somebody who has lived in the US for 10, 15 years. If that person is at the embassy, that person appreciates what Kenyans are going through in the US. That person understands how the Americans wants to interact with Kenya. That person knows how we can get more business opportunities. That person understands how we can create more trade relationships with our host country because that person has been part and parcel of that country. Yeah. So I want to say those are things we are going to discuss, and I want to promise that all the things we agree that have no financial constraints, that just require goodwill and being truthful, will be done.
Mr. Rigi, you always call yourself the truthful man, and you've always brandished yourself as the truthful man. Do you think this is the same truths, the truth that you have? Are they the same ones that you funded the Kenya Kwanza government with? Are you definite? You can say that with confidence, you are sure that you and Ruto, you actually said you had a plan. You actually believed, did you actually believe in that? Was it a truth that you actually fell for? Anyway, you are here talking about how the consulate should have gone to mtu wa diaspora. The same narrative that you take from watu wa mlima tumepata hizi number of chairs, so watu wa mlima tuko sawa. It doesn't matter who is in office or who is not. What matters the most is what is being done by whoever is in that office. So I don't feel it was fair for you to enda huko unasema ati this one should have been given mtu wa diaspora. Was it mtu wa diaspora mwenye ameishi huko ama mtu wa diaspora mwenye ametoka mlima? Would you be more specific? Because I know when it comes to ethnicity, you know how to throw that ethnic card. Wana Rigi. Anyway, what promises do you plan on giving the people in diaspora? Now that you're saying that the ones that do not require money, others require goodwill. Actually, what we lack in our country is goodwill, and I don't think goodwill will come from the likes of Akina Rigiji. I don't think so. Anyway, let's continue and hear what he had to say.
I am aware of the need for more consular services across the United States. And that again is something any reasonable leader should be able to grant. We don't have to have physical consulates, but you can have a mobile service so that Kenyans can get consular services across their IDs, their birth certificates, their marriage certificates, this and that and the other. And where there are challenges, like you said, you are sorting out yesterday with the legal authorities, there are people who can help. I think in my stay here, we are going to engage and agree what we're going to do, how we're going to do it going forward.
What we're gonna do, how we're gonna do it going forward. Ukifika tu US tu kiasi, just change the accent. What you gonna do? You're gonna be, you're gonna. You must include you're gonna somewhere. You're gonna see how many times he's gonna say he's gonna do. You gotta live, man. Get out of here. Anyway, let's enjoy while it lasts. Ni kama wala wase huenda coast for 1 week and then anarudi akiwa zile za nataka kula, naomba kula chapati kwa pojo, naomba chapati kwa madondo. Ulikuwa unasema ugali, ulikuwa unasema chapati maragwe, sasa hii atisha kwa madondo juu umekuwa coast wiki moja. Anyway, Rigiji, enjoy your time there. Jibambe, how many times you gonna say that? Hata ukitaka kusema my man, whatever accents utapata huko, wewe zilete tu. Si hatuna ubaya. Hatujakataa.
I want to say that we have many things we shall discuss and implement. But as I've told you, you are the dairy cow of the Kenyan economy. I have every intention to keep that cow happy. Even if it's getting country music to sing to it, it's going to happen. Because we need money to grow our economy. And the money is with you guys. We must get this money. But we're not going to get it by being liars, by mistreating people. It's by having a truthful engagement to see how these remittances can come and boost our local economy back at home. We had agreed on a housing fund. Initially, the president had convinced me that it was a good thing, and we thought we could have a diaspora bond. We build the houses together. Only for me later to learn that it wasn't as intended. It was just a scheme to make money by selling cement, by selling steel, by selling mabati for doing biashara. And Kenyans have said no. It's not the work of government to build houses. You do roads, get us water, get us sewage, get us electricity. Kila mtu atajenga ile nyumba ambaye inapelekana na uzito wake. Kitaka karumu moja, anaendelea. Kitaka 1 bedroom, anaendelea. So these are conversations that we're going to have. But I'm very, very happy to tell you that I'm very clear in my mind that for our country to grow, a very serious and practical engagement with the diaspora people is absolutely necessary. And I want to enter into that arrangement.
Rigiji, I have to wonder. You're saying that you believed in the housing project, right? That you actually believed that money would be raised from the diaspora bond. Well, you said that it's not the business of government to build people houses. Let people build the houses that they would like, how they'd like them to, whatever size suits their pocket. Well, that's how it's supposed to work. But now tell us, Bona. Now you're telling us that the function of government is to build roads, to ensure that there's clean water supply. Didn't you know these things before uingie kwa serikali? Haukuwa unajua? The time you were drafting a plan for the houses, you didn't know that the government should not be involved in building of houses, right? But maybe after impeachment, there came this wisdom that was downed upon you, and you came to realize, oh no, we should not have been having housing in the first place. We should not be deducting money from the mwananchi towards the same project? Is it because you believed that, or it's because you're changing tune? You're not on the same side with the president. Rigi, let's be honest. You're a honest man, ain't you? Let's just have one honest conversation over here. We can't be changing colors just for the sake of suiting the background that we are in. And we are not chameleons, are we?
Back home, it's not very rosy, but there is hope for a better tomorrow. The English say the darkest hour is just before dawn. Our dawn is coming. I think this morning they have sworn in the IEBC. We'll have commissioners in place. And we're going to have by-elections. And that is our first test ya kupeana heshima na Kasongo. Tunataka tuheshimiane. Kenyans are very patient people. They have a serious, resilient spirit, and they are holding strong. I want to encourage you to hold strong too. You know from where you sit, the cost of living is very high. And if you want to know whether our economy is growing, just talk to the diaspora people. They are the best barometer. Forget about those economic service from Treasury. Oh, economic growth of 5.6%. Oh, inflation has gone down by 3 point. Forget about those things. If you want to know the way the economy is growing, talk to people in diaspora. They will tell you whether there is growth or no, because they do a lot of support for people back at home. They support their parents with shopping. Before 2022, they were doing shopping for 10,000. The same shopping today is 35,000. True or false? So you guys know when there is economic decline. You don't need anybody to tell you. You can tell. And you are feeling it when you are here because you support families back home. So the cost of living is unbearable. It's too high. Too much taxation because there's too much theft and too much diversion of public funds for selfish endeavors by the leadership. So these are things we're gonna do together.
Okay, so too much diversion of public funds, too much theft according to Rigi. Hizo ndizo mashida zenye ziko na economy yetu ya Kenya. And he's saying that actually before Kenya Kwanza government got into power, which he was part of, let's not act like he is not part of them anymore. Alitusaidia kuleta hii serikali, si ndio? Kwa hivyo before gava ya Rigi iingie kwa serikali, that people in diaspora would send $100 and that would be enough for shopping for their family. However, right now they have to send $350 for shopping to their kin. So he's trying to say they spend 3.5 times more in 2 years. How factual is that? Yes, uchumi imepanda, but is it by 3.5 times really? I don't think so. But okay, come to consider things like SHA is not working, so you might have to send some money that would have been covered by NHIF, blah, blah, blah. Makes sense, but 3.5 times, I think that's an astronomical level, honestly. Let's give credit where it's due, Rigi. Anyway, as long as the story suits the one-term narrative, we'll buy it. Let's continue and hear what you have to say.
For selfish endeavors by the leadership. So these are things we're gonna do together. The president, it started with the minister for the minister for interior security. He gave orders, a character called Mukomen, that police should shoot people and kill them. As we speak, a barrio has just ended in Muranga of a young fellow called Boniface Monkey. He was selling masks in the streets of Nairobi. You saw that video. He was shot at point blank range. That police officer who shot him yesterday was charged with the murder. Mukomen is nowhere to help that officer. 3 days before, Kasongo himself said, no, don't kill them. shoot in the. But if you are shot in the leg, you will die because of bleeding. He was simply saying the same thing, but in a simplified function. Because anybody who is shot is likely to die. That is the president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. He swore by the constitution to protect life and property. He is issuing orders for people to be shot. The day before yesterday, the chairman of the Foreign and Defense Committee, Nelson Koech, said that the president is wrong for saying shoot on the leg. He said shoot to kill. That guy, his committee oversees the Department of Defense. That committee oversees the National Intelligence Service and the Foreign Service. So you can see the president and the homeboys are all talking about killing. When they are not talking about killing, they are talking about sending people to prison. As we speak, 38 Gen Zs were taken to court yesterday in Kahawa courts and charged with terrorism. Terrorism. So what has happened is that for Ruto and the homeboys, the reality of one term has just sunk. They thought it's a joke, and they have gone berserk.
Well, they have gone berserk. The reality of one term is slowly sinking in, and it has made people go berserk. That is according to Rigi. Well, Rigi is trying to explain of how things have gotten brutal with the orders that police can shoot. Started with Murkomen, you remember? Murkomen saying that anyone who is getting near a police station, huyo mtu apigwe risasi. Then the president tried to apply makeup on the same statement, akasema ati mtu apigwe risasi akipelekwa hospitali alafu kotini. Why would you kill your own people? Why would you be killing a potential taxpayers? Bwana Rais, auoni kwamba huyo anaweza kuwa mlipa ushuru? Sasa mtu akikufa utakuwa unatoza nani ushuru? Surely. Anyway, according to Rigi, he's saying that these orders are being given because Kasongo and his homeboys, remember, tuko US, so we have to change the lingua a little bit, just a little bit. So he's saying that the president and his homeboys are having a hard time and they've gone berserk now. You know, mtu akienda berserk ni ile unasikianga ndanga maja. Anapiga nanga, anakuwa wazimu, anashikwa na wazimu sasa. So if it was DJ Afro angekuwa anasema watu wa Kenya kwanza wameshikwa na wazimu. They are like, we now don't have anything to lose. We are just going to fight to the last drop of our blood. We are going to fight till all our energy is depleted. And that is what they are trying to do. So they've gone berserk. They are using power the way they want. They just want to destroy everything because they can no longer control their anger. Well, that is true. But remember, these are people who you knew. Rigi, can you really say that you didn't know this about the people who are leading us? The likes of the president na Murkomen. Ina feel ulikuwa unawajua. Anyway, let's get back to Rigi and what he had to say, because at the end of the day, as long as he's punching and we can feel that he's winning home and away, Team One Time were like, whatever works for us works for us. If the enemy of your friend is your, ama inasemekanga aje, I can't remember, but the friend of your the enemy of your, the friend of your enemy, or the enemy of your enemy is your friend. Yeah, I think I've gotten it right. The enemy of your enemy is your friend. So as of now, the enemy of our enemy is Rigi. So we'll need him. We'll need to use him for the right purpose. So let's continue and hear what he had to say.
And they have actually become reckless. Because when the president of a country tells police to shoot people, and he's the one who is supposed to protect people, is the highest level of recklessness. So that is a battle that I want to invite you to help us. We have no other recourse to save our country other than sending this guy home. Yeah. So you guys, for the sake of our country, for the sake of our children, you must play a role. So I have come to the States to tell you, good people, you cannot be silent bystanders in the US. You must play a role in the liberation of our country in whichever way. By talking to people back home, by pushing online, because I see you push a lot. You guys spend a lot of time on smartphone and you are doing a good job. And the guys at home, because they listen to you, because ordinarily, any peace slip holder, anybody who has an income has influence over a minimum of 2 other people. Yeah. You guys have a lot of influence back at home. The people you send money for shopping, for medicine, for school fees, they listen to you. Please tell our people back home that we have a task ahead of us to restore the dignity of our country and our people. This guy must be one term.
I agree with Rigi. This guy must be one term. For us to restore the dignity of our people, one term, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that is true because there's no goodwill from this government that shows you that they are willing to do the right thing. So, but at the same time, I'm definite. You'll ask yourself, and this the same guy who was working with these people? Hakuwa anajua. Just the other day, when Rigi was burying his auntie, alikuwa anaelezea that he had been warned against this person. He had been warned against this person. But I feel that the business interests that he was supposed to gain in this government were too high. The stakes were too high, and as long as anakula kwani kuna shida. Maybe when tables twisted, then whatever happened, and that's why he's now leading the brigade of one term. Anyway, let's listen into what more he had to pour out.
Tutasaidiana. Again, we need to move around the country where you can help within your means and you have some resources you can help. You are welcome, so that we keep it going. We have 2 years to go. It's not easy, but it's good. But let me confirm to you people that propaganda by William Ruto and his cronies, that is Kikuyu nation that is against him, is a lie. It's a big lie. I have been to the coast. It's one time. I have been to Kisii. It's one time. I have been to Masai Land. I have been to Western. I stay in Nairobi. I live with the mountain.
As Rigi is talking about this one term, I think he thought that he would excite the people in diaspora the same way he excites crowds here in Kenya. Sema one term. And then everyone is into one term. So the more he says, Wewe Kasongo, yeah, always cheering one term, nini. And then he starts putting it like, it's like, he's a rapper. Karibu aseme motif. It's like Ricky G turns into a Calligraph Jones. Motif, pull me up on the beats, you guy. So, one term. So akatu hapo anataka tu one term. Just like we have that song ya Yes Bana. So hook tu ni one term. Hey Kasongo one term. But wasa diaspora bana. Hapa alipanda mlima, angekuwa comedian tungekuwa tunasema amepanda mlima. Angalia venye watu wamebonda. Mbonda ni kama walisaviwa ndimu kawa wanaingia hapo. Because these people, I believe what diaspora you're not coming here to be entertained with the theatrics za who your political mobilization skills or what. They want to hear what is your agenda. And hii ndio kitu hata Ruto amekuwa akiuliza. Yes, in as much as the bigger agenda ni Ruto kutoka, but I need time for us to focus on the real agenda. Because yes, Rigi is a good mobilizer, but at times we have to talk about policy level. And these are not some of the kind of conversations that Rigi is a really big fan of. But when we start talking about Murima, this tribe, that tribe, who has the shares, who doesn't, well, he would thrive there, right? So maybe that would give you a little more glimpse of why the gloomy mood in diaspora. This was in Seattle. Was it in Seattle, Rigiji? Did I pronounce Seattle correctly? Ama ni Seattle? Ama ni Viatu? Okay, whatever it is. Let's continue and hear what he had to say.
Ukambani. So, Northeastern, I want to tell you, the diaspora. So, let me tell you, it's a narrative he was trying to create. And I want to thank the people of Kenya because there was a hashtag that night across the country saying, no, if there's a Kikuyu who is against you, then I am. It's a national thing. And it's across the country because everybody, irrespective of where they come from, is feeling the cost of living. All Kenyans, irrespective of the communities they come from, are against killing young children.
Well, thank you for highlighting that, Rigi. But now, I still have a question. There's the Ruto one-term movement, and yes, it was a good move that Kenyans said that it's not a Kikuyu issue. Kikuyus will not be targeted, that we are all Kikuyus. We saw all the names, Kipngetich, Moiro, Atieno, Wangari, and all those names, they were there. And which is a good move to tell people that we are beyond tribe. Because as someone like me, how can I talk of one tribe when I'm just a cocktail? I'm a cocktail of a Mwembu and a Mkamba. So mimi ni Mwemba. Mwembu plus Mkamba, kama tungekuwa tunashikanisha majina. Mwemba. Na sio kumaanisha niko Emba or something.
All Kenyans are against burning property belonging to Kenyans. All Kenyans are unhappy with the destruction of the Kenyan economy. So, William Ruto, please don't blame the Kikuyu for your problems. They are not the cause of your problems. They never told you to kill children. They never told you to abduct the Gen Zs. They never told you to destroy the Kenyan economy. They never told you to overtax people. They never told you to be arrogant when speaking to them. You have caused your problems yourself. And I told him before I left, he was speaking with a lot of anger. Nikamuuliza hii hasira yote ni ya nini? Kenyans are more angry than you are. They are just quiet because when you are angry, because you are angry, you can kill children. You can arrest others and take them to court. You can slap them with high taxes. You can frame others with cases. Kenyans do not have the capacity to do any of those. Kenyans are angry, they are just quiet. But they'll express their anger on the ballot 2027.
Okay, good, Rigiji. At least we were saying that the fact that people showed that it was not a Kikuyu thing and that it's not about a tribe, but about or going against bad leadership. And mtu wa Mlima, wa Munyoro, you are saying that it was not a Kikuyu thing. But why are you always out talking about Mulima? Ain't that supposed to tell you something? It should have been a litmus test to tell you that you're supposed to grow out of that Mulima cocoon that you've thrived into. Try to give yourself a more national outlook, and then maybe, just maybe, you would be considered when it comes to the thought of who could be president, because quite a number of people think that you wouldn't fit the bill. Na ni kwa sababu hiyo mambo ya kuangalia tu mlima.
And that is the day you will appreciate how angry Kenyans are. because you don't seem to know how angry they are. But they are just quiet because there's nothing else they can do. They just stay with anger. At the right time, they'll express their anger. So I want to say that
Yeah, at the right time, Kenyans will express their anger. I think that one, he captured it really well. But at the same time, Rigi, hii hasira, unasema hasira ya Kasongo, tunaipima na hasironomita. Inasema ako hasira ya ngapi? Wananchi, definitely we are more mad than him, and actually even if he acts, because whatever the actions that he does, even as Rigiji is saying that he's not the one who told, we are not the ones who told him to abduct people, nini, destroy the economy, lie to people, whatever. But at the same time, it's like the president wants us to forget where all these problems started. He was saying that he's had it all, he's had enough, but now he's going to stand firm. Bwana President, it all started with Albert Ojwang hitting himself against the walls of a cell, of a police station cell. That's where it all started. How did it transpire to shoot to kill? Just because one life was lost, not actually lost, it was taken away. One life was taken away. And due to that one life being taken away, how many more lives have been taken away? Remember Boniface Karaoke? Just to count, but others more who've actually suffered in the hands of police. It's been getting worse and worse. And right now, the police have the license to shoot. They have the license to do what they want. And you know the worst part about being given bad instructions is that inatokanga juu ikikaa hivi, by the time inafika chini, ishageuzwa. You had the president say mguu, Murkomen alisema piga risasi. Koech naye amesema hata usishoot mguu, piga kichwa. So the information goes changing, and even the police were saying that we now have permission to kill you. Police, if you think you have permission to kill people, check out on the latest case. Check out on Bonnie's killer. Ako wapi sahi? Madondo yanamhusu mwanangu, yanamhusu kwa wingi, na serikali iko nayo. And you can imagine now going to prison na wewe ulikuanga askari, you might go through a lot, because sasa huko wanasemanga huyu alikuanga sansi. Utatii kama chai.
don't worry, stay strong, continue praying for your country and for the people back home. And most important, as you stay here, love one another. You know, there's a saying in my community that buffaloes don't move together in a herd because they love one another. They move together in a herd because of the danger of moving alone. If you watch the wild beast immigration in Amara, the wild beasts, they move in a huge herd. And when the lions attack them, they are able to attack them back. Along the way, one of the wild beasts gets hurt and slows down. And the other wild beasts are not able to wait for it. And it's left behind alone. And within a few minutes, it is grabbed by the lions and eaten. Never walk alone. There is strength. There is every benefit and safety of walking together. And more so when you're in a foreign country. You know, please, my people, stay together, love one another, be your brother's keeper. When one of you has a problem, come together and sort it together. Never walk alone. Never move alone. I want to give you that message of togetherness, of loving one another as Kenyans, always moving in the same direction and always minding the business of the other person. As I wind up,
Great. At least one thing I love about Rigi, in as much as he has all these ethnic vices, tribalism na nini, is that he understands that the unity of people is in their strength. Remember, in 1992, the Master of Idiots was able to win the election with around 30% because he was able to divide the opposition between Kibaki, was it Kibaki and Matiba, or Jaramogi and I don't know who. I was actually not born then, so I need to revise my history well. But at the same time, he's understood that that Ruto needs to be locked out of the voting bloc. He's managed to successfully harness the Kikuyu region, uh, Ukambani region under Kalonzo locked, Kisii locked, Luya locked. Even with those 4 voting blocks added to these other agitated Kenyans, then hiyo ashapita. Ongezea kula za coast nini, as long as there's no division that will happen in the opposition, then it means that it will be just a walkover for anyone who will be vying against Ruto, because Ruto has been shooting himself in the foot severally. It's like by the day, he just makes things worse for himself. So who wouldn't want to have such a competitor who mkipeleka, kumbuka ile race yenye Uhuru alikuwa anaelezea venye Ruto anafanya, ati tunakimbia hii side lakini mwenzako anarudisha hii side nyingine. So kama yeye anajirudisha hiyo side nyingine na unakimbia, see, you will always have a head start. So but at the end of the day, his strategy is working and he's uniting people. Does not matter under what line, but he's uniting people. And the same people should be united in diaspora, because we don't need divisions nini. So let people continue being united even as they're outside their country. I really support the message of unity, but kumbuka, mtego wa panya hunasa waliokuwemo na wasiokuwemo. Huu mtego wa wananchi kuungana utanasa the current people who are in power, and collateral damages will be the likes of kina Rigi, kina Matiang'i. Nasitaki kuongelea wengi, but I'm sensing a new revolution where people will be swept out of office. It will be a fresh breath of new leadership, energetic leadership, people who haven't been there before. And people like this who just come and have a Damascus moment when things are not working on their end. It's time that they start packing their bags together with those who have been in government. Don't you agree with me on that? Anyway, this guy had more to say.
so that I can answer 1 or 2 questions. I want to assure you that we as leaders in the united opposition are clear in our mind that we cannot allow ourselves to be divided, because Kasongo will slip through and Kenya will be finished. None of us can afford the luxury of allowing him to come back. So we have agreed we'll stick together as a team. Na pale mwisho around December we'll produce 1 candidate to face Kasongo. And I have said, if we pick Kalonzo Musyoka, we'll support him to the end. Yeah. If we pick Fred Matiang'i, we'll support him to the end. If we pick Eugene Wamalwa, if we pick our sister Mother Karua, and if by God's grace they pick man Rigi, nitakibisa hii mtu kama baiskeli ya kuibiwa. Yeah? So
Man, you're impeached, Bana. Stop being overambitious. You're impeached. You stand impeached at the moment. You might talk about the court, nini. But Kenyans mali tulikosea kwanza is electing people who are in ICC. So if we elected people who are in the highest criminal court in the world, kwa dunia nzima, what does a small case in court mean? What does crimes against humanity compare to a simple impeachment? Anyway, we encourage this mediocrity, and so when you make your bed, so must you lie on it. But at the end of the day, Rigi, I wouldn't look forward to your presidency, in all honesty, because I think if Ruto was a bad person, you would be worse. You would be worse. I can't imagine a Matiang'i presidency. I don't know whether you guys watched the interview that he had with Obuya. not Obuya, but I'm forgetting the name of this journalist. But Matiang'i had an interview on Citizen TV, and you could really notice the rudeness that he was exuding. Ile kiburi yake tu. What is your net worth? Even if it was I cannot tell you my net worth. And even if it was I was to tell you, you are not the right person to, you are not the entity that I should be informing that to. That is personal information. Personal information, manade, but you are vying for public office. Hey, sasa that guy who was abusing or ignoring court orders while he was interior CS, na akikuwa president atafanya nini? Just because someone got a few things fixed does not mean that he is the right person to do. You can still fix things without having to kill people. And if you ask me, I'll actually tell you that if Kasongo is bad, Matiang'i will be 10 times worse. So you better think twice. If you thought that you're going to replace Ruto with Matiang'i, you'll just be jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. Hey, feeling like a reggae man, feeling like a Rasta man after that line. Anyway, let's continue with Rigi.
Yeah. So, but all of us are selfless. I want to assure you we shall stick together to the end. Number two, you have heard William Ruto ranting that people want to overthrow him. There's nothing like that. Nobody wants to overthrow him. It's a lie. He wants to use that as an excuse to suppress people, to arrest leaders and jail people. Nobody is interested in removing him from office through unconstitutional means. He came through the ballot. He will leave through the ballot. And we have said nobody wants to remove him. In fact, if anybody removed him, Kenyans will be very disappointed because they want an opportunity to humiliate him.
Rigi is talking about how the president came through the ballot and he's going to exit through the ballot. Remember, right now we need to teach ourselves how to use the word gonna more often. It will travel Majun Rigi. Anyway, so he says he came in through the ballot and he's going out through the ballot, and that Kenyans want to humiliate him come 2027. Well, such an interesting time to be alive. And actually you can feel the vengeance that he has, and trying to explain why they want to humiliate him. And Rigiji akona machungu. Kwanza, for him it's personal. Remember kwanza kwa ile interview yake na Obina akisema, yes, I have kept the picture of this man so that when I look at this picture I can always remember how betrayals looks like. He always looks at that picture and all his energy is focused on humiliating this man that humiliated him. Mwenye alimweka aibu. Anyway, as long as you are helping us beat him, hapo tuko pamoja kabisa. Namna gani?
They want to relish that moment of sending him home through the ballot. So let him not cry foul, crying wolf everywhere. Oh, watu wanataka kupindua serikali. There is nothing. People are waiting for the elections. The elections will be sorted out through the ballot. And I can tell you, even if they are together with Raila in the ballot, we'll beat him 7+1. Yeah? I've seen Raila castigating at the police, at the shoot to kill order. How can he? William Ruto is his partner. Why is he addressing him through the press? They are brothers. They just sit.
Well, Rigiji, how many times have you addressed the president through the press? Si tulikuwa na Mombasa ukiwa deputy president against the president. Now Raila cannot do the same because he is in government, right? Anyway, hatutaongelelea sana kuhusu hiyo, but this Damascus moment of someone coming to kuongea tu hivyo, it's something that we are taking with a pinch of salt. But at the end of the day, your attack on Raila is valid because he should not be speaking. He's part of the government and he went to solve the problem that is in government. And in as much as he speaks, it's gotten to a point where his credibility is no longer there. And actually, people like Sifuna have smelled the rat, and they are now no longer speaking or singing on the ODM song. A wise man like Sifuna has known that it's time to move. The cheese has been moved, so as the wise mouse, he's already moved looking for where the cheese is, because he's sure that as long as you're supporting this government that is killing people, that is doing all the wrong things, then you're going to be irrelevant. As irrelevant as Baba at the moment. Baba cannot convince anyone. Remember, alishindwa kutokea kwa ile Sabasaba day. Alikuwa anasema ati anaenda Kamukunji grounds. He was unable to show up. Reason behind? Credibility inaisha. So, let's hope that as long as he doesn't have the credibility, then it will be easier even in the likes of Luo Nyanza that we see new parliamentarians who are not necessarily coming under the patriarchy of ODM or that kind or style of politics. And at the end of the day, Raila, who is taking him seriously nowadays? Who is taking him seriously? Acha tumwachie tu Rigiji. Hata story ya Raila hatutaki kuongea, huyo tumwachie tu Rigiji as collateral damage.
They just sit and talk and agree that this is wrong and they should stop it. So, Bwana Raila Odinga, please, people of Kenya are not stupid. This is your brother, you say, you work together. Go to his office, mkunywa chai, mwambie wachana na hiyo maneno. Sasa unatuambia tufanye nini sisi? Why is he telling us? You know, so I can tell you, Raila Odinga brings nothing to the table. The Kambas who are behind him, they have left. The Kisis who are behind him, they have left. The Luyas have left. The Masais have left. The Luo nation is divided in the middle. Even if they are together, we'll beat them 70+1. Okay? If Raila decides to run, Ruto will be number 4 in the election. So,
Ouch. If Raila decides to run, Ruto will be number 4 in the election. Where? Anyway, career threatening tackle referee waves play on. There's nobody who receives praise from Rigi kama Ruto bana. Ruto umeambiwa ati Raila kivai utakuwa namba 4. Distant 4th. Anyway, let's wait. We don't know what the future holds. We don't know how true that is. Will Raila vie again? Do you think he will? I don't know. Subject to debate.
so there's no problem. Either way, we are okay. Yeah, it's one term. So don't be worried at all. The people of Kenya have made decisions. Those decisions are finalized and nothing will change. And we have said, even if you kill people, even if you jail them, 70% of Kenyans don't want you back. In the unfortunate event you kill so many, the maximum probably you can kill is 5%. Still 65% will vote you out. So there is no escape route, none whatsoever.
No escape route for Ruto. He's caught on all corners. He's just in between a rock and a hard place. Nati Raila akisimama, he'll be a distant 4th. Anyway, we heard that Lagat is getting back to office. That was some of the latest news that I have been watching, that there's no direct evidence that is linking him to Albert Ojwang's murder. Where nasikia hiyo kitu imeleta vurumshai pale Vigilance House. Anyway, these are the kind of things that people are looking at, and they are getting them even more mad, because remember why people are out of this on the streets? Because they were demanding a resignation. Instead of a resignation, what happened? Nigga stepped down. Anyway, one day all this shall come to pass.
I want to thank all of you who have joined our party, the DCP, the Democracy for Citizens Party. This is a party, today as we speak, is the most popular party in the country. It's a new kid on the block, and we want to ask you to support the various chapters here, and we shall have free and fair nominations. I have seen many candidates here. You are welcome, but you have to come to the ground. You cannot get the seat when you are here. Yeah, so mkuje nyumbani, msukume ground kutoka nyumbani. Hamjachelewa sana, but this is the time. At least by December, make sure you are home, so that usukume will have free and fair nominations within the party. And we are saying, let the people decide. Yeah, and things should be okay, and there should be no problem at all. So we are here, good people, to say thank you very much, and we'll work together. You are our partners and very serious partners. And the administration that we are going to form, you'll be serious partners. Really, I'm not joking. Very practical. And we have now started this engagement along the way. Tutakuwa pamoja, tutatembea pamoja mpaka mwisho. Mpaka mwisho tutatembea pamoja.
Wait, okay, amesema mtatembea pamoja mpaka mwisho. Diaspora are going to play a key role, blah 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 blah. You always know the narrative of politicians promising heaven but delivering hell once they get to power. Anyway, Rigi is still an asset when it comes to denting the Kenya Kwanza government, because he's always beating them like a punching bag, beating them home and away. And for us who are against this government, we always say that the enemy of your enemy is your friend, and he's working to our advantage. So we really hope that he will be instrumental in leading this movement, but let's not just hope that power lands in his hands, because hey, you say that Ruto is a vicious man, he's a cunning man, then this is the 2.0 version. Let's continue on watching the political scenes and how things continue transpiring. But as of now, remember just to keep warm. Remember, keep questioning. And at the end of the day, remember that we need your subscription, we need your time, we need your reaction. We need to know, how do you feel after watching our content? Give us feedback, because feedback will always help us improve, know what we are going to change. What are the things that you want us to talk about? Always feel free to suggest. If you feel that this video impacted you in any way, or you know that someone else might also like it, feel free to share with your friends. Feel free to like, feel free to comment your thoughts, your suggestions, whether positive or negative. They are always highly appreciated. And until next time, just remember to keep the conversation going, keep questioning, remain bold. Until next time, adios.